welcome to another video. It's the afternoon and we're taking a little stroll around the Queen's Park Savannah. I have my crew here. These are my nieces and nephews, of course my son and daughter. And we're just taking a stroll around the Queen's Park Savannah. If you look at this building here, I remember when we were young, they wanted to demolish this to build the larger building behind it, but people protested and that building was saved. Thankfully so. Across the street, it's a house we know as the Gingerbread House. I'll put up the proper name for it here. It was recently, when I say in the last few years, it was renovated really well. Another one of those historic buildings around the Savannah. Yeah, right behind us we have the All Saints Anglican Church, and right across the road there we have the US Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago. That's it. Let me take it to you. Behind me you can see you get a good vantage point of just how large the Savannah is. It used to just be a normal pasture for cows, and that's why they have all of these trees was planted so cows could get shade and whatnot, and then the city bought it over. There is still a cemetery, I think I might have pointed out earlier in the video, that is still privately owned. At one point in time it was considered the longest roundabout. When you reach that spot I'll show you, but just to get from here to about 20 or let's say 50 feet away driving, you had to make the entire Savannah to get in. They changed it up now so it's a little more convenient. A lot of history, a lot of colonial style homes that you'll see around here. Really nice stuff. So they were from here already. This is a good example of the wide trees that they would plant so the cows and them could graze underneath. It provide a lot of shade. But it's good fun to do stuff like that also. Bring it down, Peschier. Real monkey vibes. Hey. I don't know how to explain this.
You got a camera?
No, I'll get the after results though. So I didn't get the fall, but I get the aftermath. They sat and they all fell over together. So this railing you're seeing here, it's very historic, the one we're all trying to cross over. It used to have a tram, like a little train tram. It used to run along here, and that was the railing for it all around the Savannah. This is here, very long, old cast iron. Now when people talk about the Savannah, this is the stretch they usually refer to because it has the Magnificent Seven. This is the first one, QRC, Queen's Royal College. 1904 it was finished. And there are 7, including this one, historic houses, and we'll see it as we walk along this stretch. Plus this is where you stop, you get your coconut water. So we're all taking part in a normal pastime around Savannah, which is stopping for some ice, cold, refreshing coconut. So Uncle here giving us the coconut. He's the one chop man. One chop, cut the top of the coconut off, you can get the water to drink. Somebody got a hole out. Nice one. Okay, but actually like... See a bit of it? So guys, how was the coconut water?
Good.
It's good?
Refreshing.
Yes. stretch with the magnificent seven, the seven buildings, and in the end there is Stolmeyer Castle. For some reason I always had somewhat of an obsession with this. I used to draw it a lot when I was younger. Look at that. Magnificent Seven behind us, and on this side, right by Marvel Road, you'll see the hollows. It's part of Savannah that's down, it's hollowed out. Like what this used to be was a dam that used to supply Port Spain with water, and then it was emptied out, and this is how it's landscaped now. And we're going to go down to the ponds there and take a look. So they're running to try to see the helicopter land. In the meantime, that's the Emperor Valley Zoo right across the road, and the Botanical Garden. Now the reason why I'm making this video is that I grew up right in St. Anne's, Mount Tololo. We used to walk down here all the time. This gardens and Savannah is like my backyard. So it's very nostalgic for me to come and visit it now after all these years. You saw it? On the St. Anne side of Savannah, and as you look across, you can see the Port of Spain skyline, all the waterfront and whatnot. As you continue, the Botanical Gardens is there. It's very, very big. And right there, you're going to see the lights. I'm going to try to get a better shot. That's the President's House. Another historic building. There is so much history right around the Queen's Park, Savannah. Let's look across the road at the fountain. Anybody knows what that fountain is? What is it? What could you guys tell me what it represents? What it is, it's actually a butterfly going to land on a doorknob. We are by the famous St. Anne's roundabout. And this is the roundabout where if you came off Lady Hall and you wanted to go St. Anne's, it's right there. You needed to make the entire Savannah to come and make it. But a good few years ago, they did some changes, so you don't need to do that anymore. But this, at one point, was the biggest roundabout in the world. This is a very nostalgic walk for me. You know, the Savannah is like my backyard. And right here, that corner to enter into Belmont, there are a few roads that you can get into Belmont. I went to school inside of there. As I said, this is quite nostalgic for me. There was a tree planting campaign some time ago. I'm talking about like a good maybe 15 years ago. I actually planted, me and my wife planted a tree along the inner edge there. I can't remember which one it is, but it's there. Around that part of the Savannah that comes around to Memorial Park. That's it behind us, and that's the memorial statue in the middle commemorating our soldiers who fought in World War II, maybe World War I also. Just past the paved area where they have like a open air food court, as you can see all the tents. You can go in and get a whole set of food and stuff right there. And right across the road is Napa, that kind of modern looking spaceship building. Premier Concert Hall in Trinidad. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? So I have a story about that paved area where years and years ago when I was still in, right after high school, I went to John D. Tech Institute. You know, I was so young and full of glorious purpose. You know, they were paving the Savannah, so when it's time for carnival and they push it in the steel bands, it'll be easier for them. And we thought it was so environmentally terrible that they were doing something like that, and we went and we protested it. We were there and there were some politicians with us. We stood up behind this truck offloading dirt. That didn't stop them, they offloaded dirt. Well, we ran, but it emptied out on this politician and we had to still scramble and dig him out with our hand. My mother has a picture of it. We made the news, but that was just an interesting story. You know, as I said, I have a lot of stories about the Savannah, and that was just another one of them. Those structures that you see in the back there, that's part of the paddock. That is where they set up like the stands and grandstand and thing for carnival, when the bands cross the stage for judging and that kind of thing. Carnival is also tied into a lot of the history of the Savannah. Now the reason they called it the paddock, years ago when I was really small, they had horse racing right in the Savannah, and I remember my father carrying us, and you could have walked up right to that white railing and see the horses passing by. And I remember being so small, when they were running, the horses running past the railing, it would shake the ground. But of course now most of the racing, all the racing happens in Santa Rosa park in Arima. So it's not here anymore, but they still call here the paddock. Alright, so that's it. That's the house we opened with. So we're right back where we began. You guys enjoyed it?
Yeah!
Thanks for watching the video. As always, like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one, right? Bye!
Bye!
See you, American?
Parang yun ang sahanas na.
We could like take our frame now. We can freeze our frame and do it as a